for another brew day. What am I brewing up today? Well, I am brewing up a Lemondrop Lager. So, as the name suggests, this is a lager and it's going to be made with Lemondrop hops. So, Lemondrop hops, if you've not come across them before, are an American hop. Quite low alpha acid, 5%, and they are said to give an aroma of lemon, not surprisingly, mint, green tea, slight melon, did I say that, or lemon? Slightly melon, intensity 7. So I've spoken to someone who's used these before actually, and they said you get a little bit of pine, so they've got sort of almost a distinct sort of American character to them. So this is going to be not a subtle lager, more of a kind of brash, hoppy lager. I guess it probably fits within the international pale lager category. Yeah, I guess that's probably as close as it comes, but I'm not really too worried about that really. I'm just brewing this how I think it will turn out quite nice. So I've got my strike water coming up to temperature at the moment. So I'll be mashing in shortly, and my grain bill for this is 3 kilograms. Sorry, I should start off by saying this is a 20 litre batch. I'm doing it in my Brewzilla, Gen 4 Brewzilla. And yeah, so my fermentables are 3 kilograms of crisp German Pilsen malt, 350 grams of Vienna Malt. So I'm just really adding that in to add a sort of bit more of a maltiness, rather than it just being a kind of more of a blank canvas. This is going to have a little bit more malty sort of interest, complexity, if you like, to it. So 350 grams of Vienna Malt is going to bring a little bit of colour to it as well. And I'm also adding 150 grams of Cara Gold, which is crisp Cara Gold. That's a very, very light crystal malt. Probably not really going to add much in terms of flavour, but what it will do is maybe give it a little bit more of a golden colour. So that's what I'm hoping. So this is really just, I'm adding that in for colour. I'm also, interestingly, adding something called Chit Malt, which this is the first time I'm using this, and this is recommended to me by a brewing pal, and they said that it's a really cool ingredient in that it gives you amazing head on your beer, and that's really all it's in for in this recipe for, is just purely to give head on the beer. So it should give a lasting frothy head to this beer. I'm only using 100 grams. You don't need much more than that. I think you can go up to 5%, but from what I gather, a real small amount makes a big difference. So yeah, that's 2.8% is 100 grams. It's not going to add anything in terms of flavour or anything like that. It's literally just there for head retention and formation. So yeah, first time using it, be an interesting little experiment. So we should see at the end if that's made any difference. Hops wise, as I've said, this is all Lemondrop. So I'm using it for bittering, flavour and aroma. So the hop schedule here is, I'm doing a 30-minute boil as usual. I'm going to use 20 grams for 10 IBUs at 30 minutes. At 10 minutes, I'm putting in 40 grams. It's going to give me another 10 IBUs. And then the rest, the 40 grams, the remaining out of this 100 gram packet, goes in at 2 minutes. And that's going to give me another 2 IBUs. Is that right? So yeah, I should be heading for 22 IBUs. So yeah, fairly easy. There's going to be no hop stand here. I'm literally chucking these in at 2 minutes. At the end of the boil, I'll be switching off, cooling down, so there's no waiting around. So this actually should be fairly quick and easy brew day for me. Yeah, I'm using RO water, so I am using well, I'm adjusting my water according to Brewfather. I'm using the Lager water profile. So, I mean, the additions are pretty minimal, really. It's 0.7 grams of calcium chloride, half a gram of Epsom salt, and 0.6 grams of gypsum. I'm adjusting the mash pH with lactic acid. So Brewfather tells me that I'll need 4 mils of that to keep my pH in the magic band. I think it's 5.3, something like that, it turns out. So yeah, mash water, 14 litres, and then going to be sparging it with just under 13 litres, 30 minute boil, and then I'm going to be fermenting it with Lallemand Novalager. So I've used this before. I'm really pleased with the results of it. It gives you a super clean lager-like beer, and you can ferment it at ale temperatures. So I know this, you can take this down to kind of 12, 13 degrees and kind of ferment it cold, but not really quite sure, you know, see the point in that. You might as well just use lager yeast, although I suppose you might cut down on your conditioning time. So this, obviously you can ferment it at much higher temperatures. I'm going to be starting off at 20 for 7 days, and then I'm going to be ramping that up to 22 for 2 days. When I've used this before, this is an absolute savage of a yeast. It'll chew through this in probably 2 days and it'll be done, from past experience. So yeah, that hopefully will be done and dusted in 9 days. There's no dry hop in this, and then it will be kegged probably on about day 10. Yeah, so I'm going to be fermented it fairly warm. As I say, I've had it up to kind of 22, 23 before, and I've not noticed any kind of negative differences. I watched the David Heath video recently on it, and I think he also says the same about it. I think he uses the same kind of fermentation profile, 20 for 7 days, 22 for 2 days. So yeah, I'm going to confidently ferment this warm, and hopefully we'll get a clean beer. Again, we'll see at the end. So that's pretty much it. Really nice simple recipe, nice simple brew day, quick turnaround, beer in a keg in 10 days. And the other beauty of this, as I said, is it conditions. You don't have long conditioning and lagering times with Novalager, so should be ready to drink in, I don't know, 3 weeks time, something like that. So yeah, all good. I'll get a couple of bits of footage on the way, and I'll see you at the end for the tasting. Cheers. So we are now 60 days on, so what's that, 2 months. It's been conditioning in the keg. I've done nothing to try and clear it, apart from sort of Werflock in the boil, but you know, I haven't used gelatin or anything to try and clear it. It's not crystal clear, but it's pretty good, I'd say. So that's what it looks like. Hopefully getting that on the camera. So I'd say it's a light golden colour. Definitely that Cara gold has given it a nice little golden edge to it, rather than that kind of just washed out sort of pale straw colour that you get with just the Pilsner malt. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I did fancy a little bit of colour on it, and I would say that the Cara Gold has done the job nicely. So just enough colour on there to give it a bit more interest. Yeah, not too bad. A nice little tight head on the top there, as you can see. And as I said at the start, it's got Chit Malt in it. So what we're expecting here is a nice tight fluffy head, which hopefully lasts down the glass. So looking all right at the moment. And yeah, so it's highly carbonated. I did do set and forget on this, sort of 10 to 12 psi for a couple of weeks. I haven't been drinking a lot of it, so I've just actually topped it up with gas as I was carbonating something else. But you know, it's not highly carbonated, but not really too bothered about that. It's got some carbonation in it. All right, so in terms of looks, pretty pleased with that. It's turned out how I was hoping. So yeah, all good so far. Now, aroma-wise, definitely lemony. That is pretty much what you can smell. There's not a lot of sort of aroma coming. There's not a lot of maltiness, I'd say, coming from the malts. It's definitely lemony. Not kind of in your face. It's a pleasant sort of lemony aroma coming from it. Definitely citrus. And yeah, you couldn't argue that it wasn't lemony. All right, let's go in for a taste. Again, lemony, as you would expect. Very pleasantly lemony though. It's not too much. It's very pleasantly citrusy. Bit of sweetness coming from the malt, sort of bready, crackery, that type of thing, as you'd expect with the Pilsner malt. Yeah, and a nice sort of background citrusy lemony thing going on. As I've said before, it's lemony, but that's what we're expecting. So yeah, very nice actually. This would be a cracking summer drink. It's absolutely pissing down outside. It's freezing cold. Still enjoying it, but on a summer's day out in the garden, a few pints of this will go down an absolute storm. This is a proper nice summer beer. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that actually. Yeah. Oh, the Novalager as well, I should probably mention, is what I used here. So I let this ferment for 2 weeks. Was it something like that, or maybe a bit shorter? I can't remember now, to be fair. It finished fairly soon, 4 or 5 days or something. I think it was done. But I just left it. I was in no rush, and it's really clean. You couldn't say it wasn't a nice clean beer. It's fermented out really nicely and clean at 20 degrees, and then I think I ramped it up to 22 degrees. Oh, that was it. Seven days at 20 and 2 days at 22, if I remember correctly. Probably should have looked that up, shouldn't I, before I started this video, but hey ho. Yeah, Novalager, brilliant stuff. If you haven't used it before, give it a try. You'll get a nice, clean, lager-like fermentation at ale temperatures, so it's easy to handle. You can cut down on your conditioning times. You haven't really got to lager it as such, but mine's been out in the shed where it's been 2 degrees most of the time, so it has kind of had a nice sort of lager type lagering conditioning period for 60 days, and it is lovely. Cracking beer. Yes, I would do this again in the summer. So yeah, as I say, I can see myself sitting out in the garden with a few pints of this. Be absolutely perfect for a summer's day. So it's a big thumbs up from me. I think this has been a success. What can we say about the Chit Malt? I think that's doing its job. Nice sort of fluffy head on here as I've been sipping it. This is a non-nucleated glass, by the way. So, you know, what's there is there. yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, it's thumbs up for me. I'm going to chalk this one up as a success, and I would recommend having a go. Try the old Lemondrop hop stout. Yeah. All right. Cheers for now. See you on the next one.